Welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I am but one of your hosts, Sean Boyle, and with me is
Ashley Ma.
And welcome to the half-hour radio program, as well as once a month, thanks to the St. Lucie County Education Channel, WLX, a monthly television show as well, where we take you, the viewers and listeners, on a little journey about things to do and resources that are available to children and families in St. Lucie County. Now, if you're a longtime listener or longtime viewer, you know that the Children's Services Council, we provide funding to children's programs in St. Lucie County, currently funding 50 programs that last year reached over 30,000 children in our community.
And there are several different ways that you can learn more about those programs, not just through this radio/television show, but you can visit us on our website, which is cscslc.org. We share information there all the time about upcoming events. We have a wonderful community calendar that details those events where you can look and see what's happening. You can learn about our parenting workshops, which we're going to briefly mention a little bit later. But we also share success stories from some of those funded programs that Sean mentioned. So if you're ever maybe not sure if a program might be the right fit for you, you can actually get an idea of what has happened in those programs by reading some of those success stories. We even have a couple of videos of success stories on there that you can watch as well. So the website is a great tool.
And we're also on Facebook, so we encourage everybody to come find us on Facebook, look up Children's Services Council. Make sure you put in the St. Lucie County. While we like all the other Children's Services Councils, we're particular to the St. Lucie County one. We post on there daily, things to do, opportunities, inspirational messages. So make sure that you become a friend of ours on Facebook. And we always say this, that this is really your show, the viewers and the listeners. So at any time, if you have a question and or you have a suggestion for an upcoming program, text us directly. I'm giving out my personal cell phone. It's 772-237-1130. Text us your suggestions to make this show even more valuable for you.
And if you happen to be a friend of ours on Facebook, then you probably saw a lot of pictures recently about an event that we had. And it was a wonderful event. It's the 9th time that we've been able to do it, and that's our Sundays in the Park event. And we had just an absolutely amazing turnout. Luckily, the weather held out for the most part. We got a little shower there at the end, but I think it cooled us off. So
well, people were complaining it was hot.
That's what
and
happened.
Then it rained and it wasn't so hot.
But we gave away free books and free ice cream sundaes to everyone who attended, as well as 1,000 baseball tickets to the St. Lucie Mets game that was happening that evening, which the weather was great for. Right. So just a wonderful event. Thank you so much to everyone who came out and joined us. Thank you to Walmart and to PNC for sponsoring. We estimate that we gave out just over 1,500 books to local children in St. Lucie County, which is just awesome.
Which is a great way to promote reading, to make sure that there's books in the house so grandparents, parents have an opportunity to read to their children or be read to by their children.
Right. And I don't know if you remember years past Sundays in the Park events, we had a great partnership with Starbright Therapy Dogs, and one of the dogs was there with us at Sundays this year. And several kids actually asked if they could sit down and read to her, which is a cool partnership through the St. Lucie County Library and just a lot of fun. So
that dog, easily the most relaxed dog I've ever seen, because there were kids coming up to that dog
Yes.
nonstop all day.
Yes, she enjoyed the rain as well.
And we had a great, a lot of vendors that came out, a lot of our funded programs. The Port St. Lucie Police Department was there as an example. But we also want to thank the St. Lucie County School Board, because I know I was at the gate, me and my son were giving out bags to kids that came, and most people heard about the event through either Facebook or through a flyer through their school. So Thank you very much.
Yep. So one more thing that I mentioned, I talked a little bit about our community calendar, which is on our website, and we do share information there about upcoming events, things to do in the community. Sean always jokes that I have a line that I give to people all the time that's people always say, there's nothing to do here.
You did the voice.
I did. But there's a lot to do here, and Sundays in the Park is one of those examples, but we also provide other programs for children and families, and we have one that's upcoming, and that is our parenting workshop, Redirecting Children's Behavior. Again, through a great partnership with a local school, that parenting workshop is being hosted at Parkway Elementary. It will start September 21st, so there's still a little bit of time to get registered for that class, and it's going to happen Monday evenings from 5:30 to 8:30, and childcare is being provided for this event. So I would encourage everyone to visit the website, get registered for the class. Again, it is free.
Our favorite word.
Plus, they're providing childcare, which is a huge opportunity for parents. And the Redirecting Children's Behavior is a really great curriculum.
And we always tell people this because we offer a lot of parenting support, whether it be parenting classes that we offer or programs such as Castle and Hibiscus Children's Center. But if you take a parenting class or enroll in a parenting class, it doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. You got to remove that stigma. What it means is you want less stress when you help get your kid ready in the morning. You want less stress over homework time. And I'm looking at some of my guests here, and they're nodding their heads like, yeah, I understand. So what better way to get some more tools in your arsenal to be even a better parent by attending one of our free classes? The other thing that we want to mention is there is a Youth Connections job fair through CareerSource, formerly the Workforce Development Board. I know this is a popular topic in our community. Youth ages 16 to 24 on Friday, October 16th from 11 to 2 p.m. at Garber GMC, which is Midway Road and US 1, just a little bit south. There is a free community job fair for the youth, again, ages 16 to 24, 11 to 12. There's free lunch provided. You know, if you feed them, they will come. It starts at 11 to 2. You may think that's a Friday. Why would you have an event from 11 to 2?
Shouldn't they be in school?
Shouldn't they be in school? Well, this is an early out day. And you don't have to arrive right at 11. You can arrive at 12:30, 1 o'clock. They're going to obviously have employers there, but they're also going to have help with writing a resume and dressing for success. So again, we encourage everybody, again, if you yourself, let's say your kids are all grown, I don't have any 16, 24-year-olds to worry about. But I guarantee you, whether it be a neighbor, a congregation member, a coworker, pass this information along. Again, it's October 16th from 11 to 2 p.m. at Garber GMC, Midway Road and US 1, just a little bit south. It's on the bus line if you have to take the bus. But again, if you know of any youth that needs employment, make sure that they attend.
It's in their beautiful new facility, so you can't miss it, right there on US 1.
Have you shopped for a car recently? Is that how you know?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sadly, no.
Okay. And the other thing that we do, and if you're a longtime listener, you know that we always kind of do some tips of the week, if you will. If you know of any child that does not have health insurance, let's say their parents even have insurance, but the children do not, there is something called Healthy Kids or Kid Care insurance that's available to all families, regardless of income. The only prerequisite is that you can't have health insurance. Now, we're fortunate in St. Lucie County. We've reduced our uninsured rate below 10%, which was a major goal for us because about 5 years ago it was at 24%. And part of the strategy, part of the way that we've been able to do that is we have a local liaison in St. Lucie County that will help you navigate the Healthy Kids Kid Care application process or the renewal process. It's funded through the Children's Services Council. Her name is Danny Pierre Louis. But if you know of any family that doesn't have health insurance, or you yourself thought you had Florida Kid Care or Healthy Kids, you go to the doctor and they say this insurance isn't valid anymore, give Danny a call at 772-626-5616. Again, it's 626-5616 for any family that you know that doesn't have health insurance for their children.
And just as a caveat with that, there has been a lot of information out in the news recently about Healthy Kids, about the Florida Kid Care coverage. And before you take any of that for what it's worth, I would encourage you to reach out to Danny and make sure that whatever you're reading about applies to you and your family. It doesn't necessarily mean that your coverage will be increasing or lost, but it's certainly nice to know that we've got Danny here in our community that works with our local families, and I know that she has been a great help to families that have reached out to us looking for support, because she really is there to kind of hold your hand and walk you through the process or changes or anything like that.
Some of that rumor that you're talking about is that the prices have increased, and they have a little bit, but they're still below the market rate.
Correct.
And the subsidy, if you qualify for the subsidy, those rates haven't changed.
Correct.
So if you have any question, clearly we're not really the experts.
Please
you call
call
Danny at 626-5616.
Yeah.
Now, something that we've been talking a lot about on the radio program, and we mentioned briefly last month on the television program, is the importance of after-school programming. And even before school programming, because classes start at 7, 8, or 9. People go to work at 7, 8, or 9. But more importantly, or just as importantly, school lets out at 2, 3, 4 p.m. Most parents don't get home from work until 5, 6, or 7 p.m. What are your kids doing during that free time? If you don't give them something to do, something proactive to do, they find something to do. So that's why we strongly encourage after-school programs. And we're fortunate today because our guest are going to talk to us about after-school programming that's available in a big event that's coming up.
How convenient.
Yeah, just we segued right into that. Do you want to introduce them?
I would love to. I had the opportunity just recently, actually, to meet Miss Kimberly Roberts from. I'll let you say your program name because I don't want to do that. But Kim is here along with Terrence Platt, and they are going to talk to us a little bit about 21st century, which I'm sure people have heard that phrase before and maybe not really understood what that meant or how that applied.
It's not the real estate company. That's what I always mix it up with.
No. So give us a little background about 21st century learning and what that means and how you guys work with St. Lucie Public Schools. You can rock, paper, scissors. Who's going to talk?
I love it when the guests look at each other like, you going first or you going first?
Okay, I'll start.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 21st Century is a after-school program that we target, the main focus is project-based learning. It's not your typical sit at your desk working on worksheets. You're actually learning through cooperative learning, through the classroom is doing a project to come up, whether it's math, whether it's reading, science, things of that nature. It also has an enrichment component, which they're going to get activities such as music, such as physical education. We even have one that has an art class. So there are a wide variety of things that they can participate in the after-school program.
So these are clearly an after-school program, and they're offered on school campuses?
Correct. We have 7 sites. We have 4 elementary schools and 3 K-8 and middle school.
Very nice.
Those schools are elementary would be C.A. Moore, Longwood, Weatherby, and Floresta. The K-8s is Sam Gaines, Northport, and the middle school is Southport.
Now, how are those schools identified? How do you choose which schools are going to have a 21st century after-school program?
Well, it's an open and competitive process. It's a grant-funded program.
Okay.
And you apply to become a 21st century school.
Oh, okay, very nice. So essentially, St. Lucie County then has enough money to fund that many schools, and that's how it breaks down?
Yes, it's each school gets, well, first of all, the principal has to choose to decide to apply. So it was open up to all the schools in St. Lucie County, and these were the schools and principals that decided to apply. So the teachers sat down and were part of the process of writing the grant. They had to come up with objectives, they had to come up with projects that they could do in the 2.5-hour after-school program for each school.
You know, and I think it's interesting, Terrence, I'm sorry, that you mentioned, you know, there's obviously a learning component to it, but it's not like they go to class all day and then they go into another class after school and do classwork. It's built in with projects and learning activities. Can you describe some of the activities that they are involved in?
Sure. We have one school that they do the robotics, so they're actually working on robotics, programming them. Actually, we have at the end of the program, we have what we call the parent night, and they're going to come out and they're going to show what that project can do. Then we have some that they have their arm where they can pick up an object. They may follow a strategic path that they've programmed the project to follow. So they're actually doing not only creating the project, but they're also writing a program for that project, for that robot.
Now, I have to tell you, I don't think I shared this with you, but Kimberly knows. I had the privilege of touring Southport's 21st Century Learning Program, and I got to see the robots.
That's so neat. I didn't know that.
It was very cool. They were programming them to follow on a path, and then they were programming to stop and, you know, reverse course. And the kids were doing it all themselves, programming it entirely.
Well, and that to me sounds like something that's really beneficial, you know, skills to learn moving forward, not just what they're learning now. And you said these are elementary and middle schoolers, but, you know, as they go through high school, those are skills that they're going to be able to hold on to and take with them into the workforce.
Definitely.
Hence the 21st century skills.
That's awesome. Very cool. So you talked about the locations. There's 7 in St. Lucie County. Now, I know that through those locations, obviously, as the programs change, there's the hours are based upon school release times. And several of the programs have before care as well, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Not currently.
Not
Oh, no.
21st century.
Oh, okay.
After school.
Oh, only after school.
Right.
Okay, very nice. So how long are the after school programs open once school releases?
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours, which, as you mentioned,
Perfect.
gives parents the time to get home from work. I know my daughter gets out of school she releases at 3:15, and I haven't talked to my boss about it yet, but I don't think he's comfortable with me leaving at 3:15.
That would be me, right? No, I'm not comfortable with that at all. Make sure your child goes to a 21st century learning program.
Yes. So you guys have another event that's coming up, something that's big and being planned, and just sounds like a lot of fun. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
October 22nd is a national event called Lights On After School. The goal of that is to spotlight any programs or activities that are non-regular school hours. So not just immediately before school or immediately after school, it's weekend activities. It's to get kids involved in activities or structured programs to get them active and focused on things that are positive.
So October 22nd, and you're obviously encouraging everybody that's listening and viewing to come out,
Yes.
especially if their child's not already enrolled in some type of activity. And I think it's important that you mentioned that, you know, we talk about all the time after school programming, but even on the weekend, because not only is it a way for them to get active, it's a way for them to connect with the community. So October 22nd, which locations?
There will be 2 locations, one in Port St. Lucie. The mayor has kindly offered to give us the community center, and then there will be one in Fort Pierce and PALS at the PALS Center,
Oh,
which
nice.
is the old YMCA I keep hearing.
I'm very familiar with the old YMCA. I've broken my nose playing basketball at the old YMCA, yes. All right, so October 22nd at the Oroso Community Center,
Yes.
or the Community Center off of Oroso, and then the Fort Pierce PAL, which is right behind TD Bank off of Virginia.
It's about my only directional that I could give you.
Okay. But again, what are the times on October 22nd?
4 to 7:30 p.m.
4 to 7:30 p.m.
Perfect
Which is-
after school time.
Right, which are the peak hours for after-school programs and to get kids involved.
So we're strongly encouraging, and I'm going to look to the camera, to encourage the viewers and the listeners to come on October 22nd from 4 to 7:30 p.m., especially if your child's not already enrolled in some type of after-school activity or even weekend activity. I'm assuming then you're going to have a showcase of some of the activities and after-school programs that are available in the community?
Yes, we are asking any vendors or any programs that are out there for kids to come and advertise what they have so parents can see. I'm not sure if parents really realize what's out there and what's available to them. And we're asking anyone from churches that offer free tutoring to people who like paintballing. That's an activity. It costs money, but it's an activity that kids can do. So we're asking anyone who would like to join with the community to inform the community and parents of these activities to please call Terry or I so we can have them part of the
What's the best way
event.
for them to get in touch with you?
Call us. That would be a good start at 772-429-3957.
The great thing about having this televised now is that it's going to air so that not only can you let people know about the event, but if there are, because like you said, there are a lot of churches and a lot of groups that offer some type of activity for kids, and you want them to come to this event and showcase what they do. So we strongly encourage everybody, if you have an activity, or maybe your child attends an activity that you want the whole community to know about, go to the directors and tell them, hey, call Kimberly, call Terrence at 429-3957 to make sure that they can showcase it.
That's a really good point, and we can't always just assume that everyone has heard the same information that we do.
Well, we
So-
assume everybody watches this TV and or listens to this radio
Well,
program.
that's different. But it is a great opportunity to kind of, as Sean has said, be that resource, be the person who brings up this information, that starts the conversation, that really kind of makes those connections for people. And what a great way to kind of have an opportunity to highlight the really wonderful things that are going on here. We know about all the really great things that are happening, and we say all the time that parents don't, unfortunately. There's just a sort of lack of communication, which is one of the reasons that we started this radio show, TV show in the first place, was to get that information out there. So I think it's awesome that you're highlighting the programs that are doing that work in the community, and hopefully you get a great turnout.
So you mentioned the 7 schools. I'm leading towards something, I promise. But you mentioned the 7 schools. Is there, if I go to that school, is there a way to get enrolled, or are you already full right now?
Each school is on a case-by-case basis. So the enrollment primarily comes from that particular school. So certain schools may be full, whereas others may not be. Best to just contact the site coordinator at that particular school.
All right, so 7 schools. I'm gonna take our and I'm gonna ask for Kimberly's help here. I'm gonna take our viewers and listeners on a little preview of what it's like, because I had the opportunity with Kimberly to tour the Southport 21st Century Learning Center with the mayor of Port St. Lucie, who obviously is on board because he's hosting at the Eroso. So we went, and the first thing that they did was they were getting a snack, which, you know, anybody that has children, and particularly after school, knows that they usually come home famished. So they were getting a snack, and then we toured a couple of aspects. We went to a computer lab where they were working on computer problems as a group. They were individually, but then as a group, they were working together, and then the facilitator was able to see everybody's work. And it took me, myself, the mayor, and this one youth to figure this one problem out, but we were very proud that we got it right. So it was very challenging, and it was kind of neat because it wasn't just like, you know, a mathematical equation. It was kind of set up in almost like a game. And then we went to another section where it was the robotics section, which is where we saw the robots, which was very fascinating because, you know, there were robots in like bits and pieces, and then they were connecting them and making them do all sort of things and twirl around, and it was really quite amazing. And then we went to the basketball court, which of course, which is where we stayed the longest, admittedly. But there was really all aspects. There was obviously the snacks, the homework, and the computer aspect, the enrichment part in regards to the robotics, and then obviously an exercise component, which is when you look at an after-school program, that's really the well-rounded what you're looking for.
Yes. And the programs are 2.5 hours, and the kids actually get a supper. They get more than just a snack. They actually get a full supper. They get a main dish, a veggie, and fruit, and a drink.
Wow, that's awesome.
I apparently didn't stay long enough because I didn't get dinner, but that's pretty neat. Apparently, that's nice. That's nice. So again, can you run through the schools one more time?
Sure. C.A. Moore, Floresta, Weatherby, Longwood, Sam Gaines, Northport, and Southport.
So you do have pretty great even distribution between Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie schools, both well represented.
Yes.
Excellent.
Now I'm going to put Kimberly on the spot. Which I'm not sure looking for. Kimberly, I know you used to be a teacher. You're probably always a teacher. I don't think anyone's used to be, but you're always. But so, can you speak to maybe just briefly the importance of after-school programs, particularly when it comes to academics?
Well, studies and research show that kids who are involved in activities, their grades are higher, their attendance are higher, and their behavior is better. There's less violence. After-school program, any program where a kid can be influenced by others in a positive way can only benefit us. And I have, I guess it's cliche, but it takes a village to raise a kid. And it takes all of us at some point to raise one child. I can't raise my children without other people to influence them, whether that's a coach or someone tutoring them, giving them one-on-one. So after-school program, it isn't just for sports. It's for any activity that involves a child in something that they enjoy and that can be a positive impact to them. And that includes Saturdays and Sundays when parents think that that's not an after-school program. It's an activity. It's someone else influencing their child. So anything we can do in our county, in St. Lucie, to bring, help improve kids' behavior, bring something positive to them and something that they can be proud of, is something we want to spotlight on Lights On After School.
That's so true.
I was gonna say the one thing that you said that really rung out for me was those people, the people in those programs or the people at those activities are having an influence on your child, and how important it is to ensure that the places that they're going, the people that they're meeting are positive influences. We talk all the time through Kids at Hope about how important it can be to have one positive adult role model. And it could be a coach. It could be, I remember my coach, I swam through high school and college, and the coach who I had I was probably 10 years old. She started being my coach at 10 years old. I still talk to her weekly. And, you know, that's a relationship that we've maintained for, I'm not going to tell you how long, but it's been a long time. And those are, you know, those are influences and relationships that maintain for a very, very long time.
And I think it's also important to note, like you said, it's funny because that's what I picked up on as well, is the people that work in your after-school programs through the schools, through the 21st Century Learning Program, they're teachers.
Yes.
And faculty that work at the schools. So, you know, it's good that they're connecting with the child in class, but even outside of class helps with that bond and helps build another positive adult role model in their life.
Well, and it's a different environment too. It's a different relationship, I think. You know, even in the after-school setting is just one step removed from a classroom, so it doesn't quite feel the same to that child. So it's a little bit more relaxed, a little bit, you know, a little bit different, and provides the opportunity for sort of a different relationship there.
So before we head off, I want to plug the event one more time. The Lights On After School. This is a national event, like
Yes.
nationwide. It's a Thursday, right?
Yes.
October 22nd. Lights On After School from 4 to 7:30 p.m. I'm looking at Kimberly, make sure I don't mess anything up. 4 to 7:30 p.m. at the Aroso Community Center in Port St. Lucie, the Fort Pierce Pal in Fort Pierce from 4 to 7:30. We want parents to go if your child isn't enrolled in an after-school program or, as Kimberly mentioned, a weekend program. Or if you offer an after-school program, make sure that you call 772-429-3957 to make sure that you get your booth space, was that fair to say? Booth
Yep.
space reserved so that you can showcase your activities. Do you have anybody locked in now that you want to maybe give a shout out to?
Well, we have many vendors who have offered to attend, but I'd rather not say until we get confirmation.
Gotcha.
But yes, we do have a lot of people. Well, I-9 Sports have said that they would come, and they're just
Awesome.
a weekend. They kind of hesitated, but when I explained to them the whole goal, they are coming. So they will be at both events, I-9 Sports and Boys and Girls Club. You know, the sheriff's office is willing, the police departments, we have many.
Good.
Just got to confirm.
Very nice.
Don't want to put anybody on the spot. Then they say, "Oh, I can't make it."
But I-9 Boys and Girls Club, the sheriff, and police, you're locked in.
You're locked in. Yeah.
We're good there. And as an added bonus, a little incentive that we've offered up, we are going to put together some sort of starter library packs for you guys to have as a raffle to give away at the, we'll try to divide them up between the two locations, but hopefully that will kind of encourage someone to start their home library, give them a little head start on books to read at home.
Thank you very much. We will
Appreciate
greatly
that.
appreciate that.
All right, we have come to the end of our show. Do you have anything else you want to mention?
No, just I would remind everybody, we're going to certainly put Lights On After School on the community calendar on our website, and that is a great resource to check. I promise you, there's always something going on here in St. Lucie County for children and families, and most of the time it's free to attend. At least those are the programs that we like to highlight. So definitely check there if you're looking for something to do.
Kimberly, Terrence, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
We're going to see everybody on October 22nd, right? All right. We've come to the end of our show. We want to thank you very much for tuning in and or listening. Remember, this is your show, so if you have a topic or suggestion, text us directly at 772-237-1130. And remember, it's our children, our community, our future. We're all in this together. We'll see you next time.